Hello, my dear students. Welcome to the online class of Chakkalakal Higher Secondary School. How is your online learning going on? I think it's going very well. Okay. All of you are watching the videos in Victor's channel and you are doing all the activities given by them. Okay. Now, in English subject, the first chapter is almost completed. What was the title of first chapter? The Adventures in a Banyan Tree by Ruskin Bond. That chapter is almost finished. Okay. Here in this video, I discuss what are the major points or what are the major things discussed in first chapter, The Adventures in a Banyan Tree. Okay. Four major things are discussed in first chapter. What are those four things? First one, the banyan tree. Ruskin Bond's relation with that banyan tree. Then, Ruskin Bond's friendship with the grey squirrel. Then, the fight between cobra and mongoose. And finally, the strange incident. What was that strange incident? That white squirrel and that that white rats and grey squirrel, the relationship between them, you know that. These four things are discussed in first chapter. Okay. So, banyan tree. First thing. How banyan tree became Ruskin Bond's favorite spot? We know his grandfather cannot climb that tree. So, Ruskin Bond selected it as his center of all activities.
The spreading branches of the banyan tree, which curved to the ground and formed root again, gave him endless pleasure. The banyan tree was actually more than 100 years old.
It was older than his grandfather's home, and as old as Dara town. Okay. In the later part of the story, Ruskin Bond says he spent time on that tree afternoon, maybe in almost all afternoon he spent time on that tree because he made a platform at the middle of that tree and he read many books from there. And sometimes he watched the things happen around him. That means he can see everything from that banyan tree. Okay. Then Ruskin Bond's friendship with the grey squirrel. That grey squirrel was not ready to mingle with him at first because he considered Ruskin Bond as an invasion to his privacy. He considered Ruskin Bond as a disturbance, but later the squirrel understood that Ruskin Bond is not that much dangerous, is not that much harmful because he never armed with a catapult or an air gun. So, slowly he became the friend of Ruskin Bond. Okay. And sometimes Ruskin Bond has given him biscuits and cakes, and the bond between them has grown and they became thick friends. Okay. Third thing, the fight between cobra and mongoose. That is the most important part of this story. One day, Ruskin Bond was sitting on that banyan tree and he saw the mongoose. He was coming out from the garden and same time the cobra was moving towards the garden. Okay. And when they came face to face, normally when they met they started the fight. We know the mongoose and the cobra both are very good fighters. and they started fighting. They fought hard, and finally mongoose was able to defeat the cobra. Same time, one more incident happened there. A myna and a jungle crow, they came as the spectators, and they during that fight they tried to intervene. And what happened? The jungle crow lost his life, but myna somehow saved her life. Okay. Anyway, at the end of the fight, we know the mongoose won the battle and cobra ran away. Okay. At the end of the story, one strange incident is described. What was that? The strange incident between the white rats and grey squirrel. We know the grey squirrel because we discussed about him at the very first I think first part of that story we discussed about the grey squirrel. The grey squirrel was Ruskin Bond's friend. He lived on that banyan tree, and from there that white rats came. Actually, those white rats belongs to grandfather. He bought those white rats from bazaar for 4 annas. And sometimes Ruskin Bond took these white rats to the banyan tree. So from that banyan tree, these white rat and grey squirrel became friends. They played. They spent a lot of time in that banyan tree, and finally what happened? 4 white squirrels were born. Okay. And grandfather explained the science behind that.
Grandfather told him that the rats and the squirrels are related to each other. So it was quite possible for them to have offsprings.
Okay. These are the 4 major things we discussed in that chapter. Once again, the banyan tree, that means the importance of banyan tree in Ruskin Bond's life. Okay, because this entire story revolves around that banyan tree. Second thing, the friendship between Ruskin Bond and grey squirrel. Third, the fight between mongoose and cobra. And fourth one, the strange incident between the white rats and grey squirrel. Okay, if you know these 4 things, you can answer any questions from this chapter. You can expect letters, diaries and all from this chapter. For example, Ruskin Bond writes a letter to his friend, to his father or some other person about the things that he has witnessed from that banyan tree. Maybe the fight between mongoose and cobra, or that white rats incident, or the friendship between grey squirrel and Ruskin Bond. All these may be there in your exams as a major point of letter writing. Diary will be there, grandfather's diary, Ruskin Bond's diary. That kind of questions also you can expect. Okay, so first chapter is very important. You should study it very well. You should read the chapter and you should know the major points. Okay, thank you.